so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad I get to do this in front of family members instead of total strangers. So, okay, alrighty. So, vitamins. We're going to talk a little bit about two really important terms. First, we're going to talk about empirical evidence. Now, empirical evidence has to do with, you're going to hear terms like double-blind study, okay, and you're going to hear terms like meta-analysis, okay. Double-blind study refers to how a study is set up to study a medicine. For example, if we were going to study aspirin, I would give you an aspirin and I would give you a pill that looks just like aspirin, but it would be nothing but sugar. It's called a placebo, okay. And then you would take that aspirin every day, and 3 months from now you would say, well, it healed my headache, but it made my stomach upset. And then you would tell me, well, it healed my headache, but it didn't upset my stomach. Okay? Well, I wouldn't know which one of you had the real pill until we got all of the evidence back in and I got to see what it is. That means I was blind to who got it and you were blind to who got it. That's a double-blind study. And that's how medicines are studied. Now, the meta-analysis refers to somebody that's really smart, that knows how to look at evidence, okay, and they take all the studies from all over the world about aspirin, and they boil them all down to say this 25,000 people all tried aspirin, and their blood got thinner, and their headaches went away, but they all had stomach upset, and now we know exactly what's going to happen if you take an aspirin, okay, and that is how the FDA requires studies to be set up to make sure medicines are going to work or not, okay, before we ever get to them. All right, now, contrast that with anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence refers to one or two people. In other words, aspirin really worked well for me, okay? Or I think let's talk about magnesium. I take magnesium for migraine headaches, and it gets rid of my migraine headaches. It works well for me. But there's not 10,000 people all taking magnesium to find out if their headache goes away, okay? So it works well for me is the kind of evidence that you find with most natural things, because no one has actually done a whole big study. And that's part of the issue with natural medicines. We have to find out what actually really does work, and nobody's doing the studies to find out. Now, the FDA does not regulate natural medicines. Okay, so what is a vitamin? This is what Webster says a vitamin is. Any of certain complex substances found variously in foods and essential to good health. Okay? We have fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, and E. They absorb into fat and they stay there until needed. And it is possible to take too much because you're storing it. So you have to be very careful when you take fat-soluble vitamins not to take too much. Water-soluble vitamins, that would be all the vitamin B's and vitamin C. Okay, now that, generally they're eliminated daily, so you have to take them every day. Okay, you have enough. All right, then we have minerals like iron and calcium. You should only take those if you're really insufficient, if you're not taking enough in your diet. If you're drinking milk and eating cheese, you probably don't need calcium, unless, of course, you've broken a bone or something like that, and you have to grow a lot more bone, all right? All right, now, an overdose can be troublesome with these, so you do want to be very careful not to take in too much of minerals, okay? Then we have trace elements like magnesium, sodium chloride, manganese, selenium, and you generally get enough of those in your diet.
Where is the source of magnesium?
Magnesium, food source, I have to think about that one. I'm going to say probably, you're probably going to find that in nuts. I know you do manganese you get in nuts, but I have to check.
I think not almonds for magnesium, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a nut, but yeah, I don't remember which nut.
Well,
I knew it was a health food.
I read a study, and I don't know if it's one of the anecdotal ones or the other kind, but anyway, in Europe, Great Britain, they did a study. They took 100 people that were having heart problems, and they gave them all magnesium. It was, I think it was a blind study, but I'm not sure. And then they took another 100 people, and they gave them nothing, the placebo.
The placebo.
In 1 year, the 100 people that they had given the magnesium were improving, getting better. None of them died, and they were doing fine. The group that did not get the magnesium, obviously, were not getting better in the same degree, and 6 of them had died.
Interesting.
And there was a lot of benefits that they had gotten from the magnesium. So,
Yeah.
And didn't you say that magnesium helps the muscles?
It helps. What magnesium does is it makes smooth muscle relax. It makes striated muscle tighten up. What does that mean? Okay. So like in your gut and inside of your arteries and that kind of thing, you're gonna have the smooth muscle and that'll relax. But any place where you have striated muscle, like your skeletal muscle, that kind of thing, it's gonna tense it up more. Interestingly though, as far as anecdotal evidence goes, actually magnesium is good for migraine headaches.
Oh.
It's what happens with migraine headaches is that the arteries dilate. So what it does is since it's a mild vasoconstrictor, they constrict, so you're less likely to have a migraine because they're not going to dilate. So yeah, are we up to where we need to be? Oh,
Just a little more.
a little bit more. Okay, sorry guys.
This is good though. I'm loving this.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, so then vitamin A and vitamin D, okay. Okay, vitamin A is essential for night vision and for brain function. You know, when your mother told you to eat your carrots, she was telling the truth to help your eyesight, okay? There are several forms of vitamin A, so the dosage is gonna vary quite a bit. For example, beta-carotene is a provitamin. What does that mean? A provitamin means that it's the precursor to the actual vitamin. So when you take beta-carotene, it turns into vitamin A in your stomach, or in your body, okay? All right, so if you're taking beta-carotene and it becomes vitamin A in your body, you don't need to take more vitamin A because you already have beta-carotene in your body, okay? So what do? You look for that 100% RDA to find out how much you've got in there. So if you're gonna take retinol, which is the actual vitamin, then you just take 100% of the retinol, and that's all you really need. I know that some physicians are actually prescribing vitamin A with lutein together for night vision and that kind of thing for elderly people. So that's also a possibility. Lutein is just something that potentiates the vitamin A. So, okay. Alrighty, and then carrots, pumpkin, yams, and tangerines is where you get it. So generally speaking, if it's orange, it's probably got vitamin A in it. Okay, vitamin D. Vitamin D, like we were talking a little earlier, is probably one of the most researched vitamins right now. They're finding that vitamin D does so much that they just can't even believe it because it's not just a vitamin, it's a hormone. It's actually a prohormone. What is a prohormone? A prohormone is something that you take that turns into the hormone in your body. It not only helps build your bones and all that, it helps muscle function, it helps mood, it helps brain function, it helps just about every internal organ you have requires vitamin D, which is why at this point in time, some physicians are recommending up to 6,000 units a day. Now there's two different kinds of vitamin D, there's D2 and there's D3, okay? D2 is the kind your physician is going to order for you if you have a vitamin D deficiency. D3 is the kind you buy at Walmart. But very recent research is showing that vitamin D3, the kind you buy at Walmart, is more potent than the kind that the doctor gives you. So if you get vitamin D3, about 800 units a day is plenty, unless your physician tells you to take more. But vitamin D2, my physician ordered me to have 50,000 units a week. So, it's a very, very important vitamin. Okay, let's see. Its nickname is the sunshine vitamin, and we can actually grow our own if we go outside for like 8 hours a day. Since most of us don't do that, most of us are vitamin D deficient. All right,
And what is it, you said that it helped with depression.
it does, it
Do you
helps
know
mood.
why?
Well, it helps with brain function. I'm not exactly sure the mechanism of it, to be honest with you, but we will talk about, some of the chemicals that go on in your brain. We'll be doing that on the 9th. But, I would imagine it probably potentiates some of those, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, it crosses right into the brain and it helps that function in there, so I really don't exactly know the mechanism. Sorry about that. Wire gets rusty, we rust too, we oxidize, okay? Well, antioxidants are our Rust-Oleum, okay? They're the thing that keep us from rusting, from oxidizing and having nasty things inside of us, okay? So vitamin E cleans us up, vitamin C cleans us up, kinda nice, okay? Now, vitamin E, what it does, it's essential for skin health and nerve health, okay? It's also a mild blood thinner. So if you have a prescription blood thinner or anything like that, you have to be very cautious about taking vitamin E. Okay, another thing that it's good for is fibrocystic breast disease. So, because it's fat soluble, it actually helps breast tissue. A lot of women tend, if they have fibrocystic disease from drinking too much coffee or something like that, you can take vitamin E and it helps emulsify those and it doesn't hurt anymore and it's kind of nice. So, real easy. You never want to take more than 400 units a day though. Okay. You get it from seeds, beans, and tuna. Okay, vitamin C. It strengthens the immune system and detoxifies. It's our Rust-Oleum. It gets rid of the rust, okay? It's essential for energy production. If you don't have vitamin C in your system, your body won't function. It's that simple. It's needed in every single cell of your body. Daily intake is necessary, and up to 2,000 milligrams per day is acceptable. The RDA is only 60 milligrams. Now, if you take 60 milligrams, you won't get scurvy. Thank you. But if you take more, you can actually detoxify your body. The one exception to that is pregnancy. Because if you take huge amounts of vitamin C, like up to 2,000 units a day, your baby can be born and go through withdrawal and actually develop scurvy. You don't want to do that, okay? That's a bad thing. Okay, so you get that from citrus fruits, peppers, strawberries, broccoli. Lots of things have vitamin C in them. If you cook your vegetables, if you cook them, you will cook the vitamin C right out. You will no longer have vitamin C in your vegetables. So,
Raw
warning.
broccoli then in this case.
Sorry?
Raw broccoli or barely flash.
Yeah,
Flash
yeah.
out and stuff
When
like
you like boil green beans and all that stuff, you boil all the vitamins out because it's water soluble, it just right out in the water. Okay. Vitamin B, we're gonna go to the B vitamins now. I kinda grouped all those together because there's so many, okay? So B1 is thiamine. It is important for energy. B2 is riboflavin. That's for cell respiration. In other words, it helps your cells breathe. B3 is niacin. Niacin helps get rid of the bad cholesterol. Doctors have found now that they can prescribe niacin, 500 milligrams, sometimes up to 1,000 milligrams a day. It helps get rid of the bad cholesterol in your system.
You wouldn't have to take cholesterol medicine.
Right. There's a catch though. Gives you hot flashes big time.
I've been having a lot of them, and I shouldn't have at my age.
Oh, really? Okay,
But I'm taking a cholesterol medicine.
Yeah, that, if you're taking, is it a statin drug? It's something statin, simvastatin, or, yeah, one of those. Yeah, that wouldn't cause it. It's not related to that.
Primostatin.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
would cause the hot flashes?
No, it shouldn't.
Wonder what's causing them?
No, that could be something else. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay. Now vitamin B5 is pantothenic acid. It's also for nerves and your brain function. B6 is pyridoxine, and that's for your brain, your hormones, and your homocysteine level. Now, let's group all those B vitamins together, all right? When you take a B complex vitamin, okay, which you can just buy B complex, okay, it helps with depression. It helps with brain function. It helps with a whole lot of neurologic things. So very important to make sure you're getting enough. Homocysteine. Homocysteine has gotten a lot of bad press lately. Your body makes homocysteine, it's sort of like a byproduct of what else is going on in there. But homocysteine can actually build up in your arteries and cause cardiovascular disease. Now, guess what? If you take a B complex vitamin, you're gonna help yourself because the B vitamins are gonna help get rid of some of that junk. Okay, that's a good thing, all right, B12.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Dr. Whitaker,
Uh-huh.
I saw him on a program, and he has a rare cholesterol disease where he has cholesterol over 2,000.
Wow, okay, uh-huh.
And he swears that the homocysteine level is what causes the heart attacks more than the other things that they're saying that does. And he takes lots and lots of B vitamins and all this, and it's just done wonders for him, because really he should be dead from a stroke or a heart attack or something
With all of that.
with all that.
I've heard a lot of natural health people talk about homocysteine and getting rid of it. You know, not glutamine, suddenly I can't think of it. It's something glutamate, I forget the first part of it. Somebody sells that at $35 a bottle, okay? But guess what? Your B vitamins make that stuff naturally, so if you take plenty of B vitamins, it should cleanse the homocysteine. You don't have to buy that whatever glutamate stuff that, they're selling for $30 a bottle. Buy your B vitamins and take them, okay?
Wow,
So,
that's good.
all right.
Wow.
Okay, B12. B12 also helps to control that homocysteine level. Very important. Nerve and brain function, cognition, thinking, okay? It helps you think. In fact, one of the suggestions that, they have when you begin to develop Alzheimer's is try B12 first, because sometimes it's a B12 deficiency that starts making you muddle-headed.
We need some of that then.
I do.
I need a hospital.
That's what I need, some B12.
Couldn't hurt, might help, it just really. Now, if you are gonna try B12, I'm gonna suggest to you get the sublingual B12.
Under the tongue.
Under the tongue. Remember we were talking about that first pass effect?
Other than
Yeah.
Trivita, can that be gotten at the store? I know there's commercials for the stuff
Trivita.
or Trivita where you.
Yeah,
You
I
can.
didn't know if it's available over the counter or without ordering.
You're talking about the sublingual, you can buy them at Walmart. and
Oh,
buy it.
good.
And
Okay.
it's a pill?
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
little pill, you put it under your tongue and it melts.
Awesome.
Okay.
Quick then.
So you're avoiding the first pass effect, okay? Now, why do we need that B12? Here's where B12 comes from. Well, okay, we're gonna say here, it comes from tuna, eggs, milk, and cheese. Basically, it comes from proteins. So when you eat protein, technically speaking, your stomach should make your own B12. But when we get older, we have less acid in our stomach, okay? So if you have less acid in your stomach, B12 is produced because of the acid that's in your stomach. So, for example, if you have gastric reflux problems and you're taking an antacid for that, if you're getting older, you don't have as much going on in your gut, you're not gonna make as much B12. It's just that simple, I don't care how many steaks you eat, okay? So,
That's why
most,
they wanna put it under the tongue, then
you put it here because
digestion isn't cheating any of it
you're not going to absorb it, because the problem is the acidity is
in your stomach.
lacking in your stomach. So if you take the sublingual, you're gonna get more of it. It's that simple.
Right in your bloodstream.
Alrighty.
It helps with digestion too, doesn't it? Or something, look, tell me why this would have helped me. I had a horrible reaction to an antibiotic, had all these stomach problems and all the stuff that comes with that. And I figured out I'm having a reaction, and I'm having probably the friendly bacteria's been killed off and all that. And my chiropractor said take a bunch of B12. So the B12 with the acidophilus straightened my stomach out really fast.
It really probably wasn't so much the B12 as it was the acidophilus, actually. The B12 was probably a good way to get you to reabsorb B, because B does a lot of healing in your body, but acidophilus, if you've got a really screwed up gut, acidophilus is the bacteria to help straighten it out. I mean, you've gotta have it. So, yeah, I really can't speak to that specifically, why he would suggest it otherwise. So, okay, where are we? Okay. Folate, yeah, all right, just wanted to make sure I'm on the right slide. Okay, now folate is essential for brain development. You know, one of the things that they tell pregnant women to do is to take folic acid, okay? And the earlier you can take it, even if before you get pregnant, it's a good idea. Because, if you're trying to get pregnant, because the earlier you take it, that neural tube is developing within the first few weeks of pregnancy, that first precursor to the brain. So it's so essential for brain health in a baby. Okay, we know that. And it's going to do kind of the same things for an adult. It's good for brain health. Okay, all right. It's also good for mood. So, and for blood cell formation. And you should take 400 to 800 micrograms a day. It's in peanuts, wheat germ, and my favorite, cashews. No problems with that one.
I like all that.
Alrighty. Now, minerals and trace elements. We're just going to quickly go through these. Iron is for red blood cell production. Calcium for bone and muscle function. Magnesium is also for muscle function. And that's mostly in your visceral organs inside of you. Okay. Phosphorus for DNA formation and energy. Potassium is for your heart function. Others such as manganese, selenium, sodium, we talked a little bit about those. They're generally obtained through diet. You don't really have to take anything for those. Once in a while, you know, you'll look at your multivitamin and you'll see some of those in here. It won't hurt you to take a little bit more. You just don't want to be taking just a selenium pill, for example, because selenium can be toxic. Okay. Alrighty. You do not supplement your potassium without your practitioner's recommendation. Potassium can be deadly. You do not want to take potassium.
You're not talking
Unless-
about eating bananas and tomatoes then?
No, I'm talking about pills.
Pills.
Oh, yeah. Eat as many bananas
Eat
as you
as-
want,
it won't
okay?
hurt you then.
Of course, that'll do other things, but I'm not even gonna talk about that. So, yeah, well, if the doctor tells you to take a potassium pill, take it. But don't take a potassium pill unless the physician tells you to, because too much potassium is very bad for you, okay? It can cause cardiac arrhythmias. All right. Now, I gave you on your papers and up here some really great websites if you really want to know more about this. The National Institute of Health, which is a government entity, actually formed the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine. If you have questions, they have all the research right there. Makes it real easy. It's a one-stop shop. Also, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, they have other medical, you know, if you really have questions and you're not sure, you can go to that website and ask medical questions. You'll probably find better answers than any place else. And I also stuck on there my very favorite vitamin place to get my vitamins is vitacost.com.
Done that.
Alrighty. Okay, and then here's the recipe for the banana bread in case you guys actually do like it.
That's awesome.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions?
Questions?
We've been kind of talking as we go, so I don't know
Right,
if you do.
more coffee.
What about vitamins that you didn't mention? Like
Right.
CoQ10 and some of the other ones that are kind of
Heard
newer.
of that.
CoQ10 is not really a vitamin.
Okay.
CoQ10 is an enzyme.
Oh, okay.
It's an enzyme that each of your cells make. CoQ10 is a requirement for cell respiration. Okay, every cell breathes. Okay, cells are phenomenally complex little things. Okay, they're like, I heard one cell biologist say this. The question was asked, so if, you know, an atom is like a Buick, what is a cell? And he said it's like a universe. That's how complex cells are, okay? We have to have CoQ10 for cell respiration. As you get older, you make less. It's that simple. CoQ10, I have seen phenomenal improvement in people that take CoQ10. I remember this is years ago before anybody was talking about CoQ10. I was
Where do you
working
get this CoQ10?
at Walmart.
Walmart?
Yeah, you can buy it over at probably.
And co
Dollar
means it
General.
works, co probably means it
And
works with something, right?
Coenzyme Q10, it's
Uh-huh.
short for
Okay.
coenzyme Q10. And there's all kinds of coenzymes in your body.
Okay.
All right, but CoQ10, I remember one time I saw a man who had a Parkinson's disease. Okay, he was so advanced on the Parkinson's disease, his body was literally rigid, it was like a board. Okay, they had put a tube in his stomach to feed him, because the only way we could get anything into him was through tube feeding, because he couldn't swallow, couldn't do anything. Okay, the doctor, neurologist came in and said, start giving him CoQ10. Well, this was a real project, because those CoQ10s are those little gel caps, and you have to squeeze it out. I was like, really? You know?
So you actually
So I
saw
start-
this case?
I was working with
Oh,
this man.
wow.
And, yeah, and so I'm putting this CoQ10 in him. I'm telling you, 3 days later, he was sitting up eating.
Oh my gosh.
This physician said that he was an avid skier. Oh, so he would go out, Colorado every year and go ski. Couldn't do it anymore because he was 70 years old and he couldn't get his wind. He started taking CoQ10 because he couldn't ski again.
Wow.
That's me, give me some.
That's amazing.
Amazing stuff,
Yeah.
amazing
It's a lot
stuff.
hard.
Mhm.
Some
You
bit
had
that
it
I don't
before?
remember, I just knew it was like,
Yeah. CoQ10, well, they
it's more of a
they-
recent discovery than some of the older
well,
the
it's
vitamins we
probably
knew
10
about when
years
we were
ago.
kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, years ago when I'm 54. When I was a teenager, my mom
Nobody
was
heard of
pushing
that.
vitamin C
Yeah.
and things like that, and she could tell you why.
Mhm.
But I never heard of CoQ10 until, well, more recently in my
I will
life.
bring next week a product with me. I'm not selling anything, okay? But it's the vitamin that I take. It actually includes things like CoQ10, all your trace minerals, ginseng.
Do you
is
just
in
take,
it.
do you take one, is it in a packet of several vitamins, or is
No,
it all in
it's
one
actually a
thing?
powder.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Mix it
it's much
in.
easier. 'Cause a
So
lot of people
everything you
can't take
need,
all
you
those
kinda,
pills.
do you take any supplements besides that one,
Yeah, I do. I take,
the Ds,
what?
the Ds, vitamin D?
Well, I have to take, I have prescription vitamin D once a week.
Yeah.
But I take, come on, Barb. I take a probiotic, I take, I have one prescription I take, what do you call it, it's greens, what, oh,
Barley greens?
no,
I used to take something that was called something greens.
chlorophyll, it's just chlorophyll.
Oh, that is so good. Yeah,
It's a
chlorophyll is so
cleanser.
good, yeah.
Mhm. But this has optimal, I believe in optimal nutrition. A lot of, you can go over to Walmart and buy one-a-day vitamins, but that's gonna keep you from getting scurvy and rickets, thank you very much. Or you can take optimal vitamins and actually feel a benefit.
What's this optimal vitamin?
Optimal vitamins is it's a higher dose, basically, okay? Optimal vitamins, for example,
And are they generally more assimilatable as well?
more bioavailable,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Have you seen a little boy in like a blue long sleeve t-shirt?
Not just now, I'll read them.
I have to get everybody to do a blood test.
Oh, good.
Here, do a blood test.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So,
You gonna grade it?
no, I'm not gonna grade it.
IU,
International units.
EP.
You can cheat.
Or the E.
It's an open book test.
I can cheat.
You can cheat.
Oh, good.
Well, because that'll make me look better when you cheat.
Okay.
Yeah. So you never took the pre-test, Ken, so
E.
Oh, I'll take it.
here, take the pre-test too. That way it's all done.
What did I learn? I learned it before.
Oh, yeah, well, you were nodding your head like I already know this, so.
And there is the correct answer in all these.
There is a
Yes?
Oh, I
correct
didn't do
answer
my
in all of
post-its.
this, yes.
The little boy she's looking for was just brought to the police station, so he's
Oh,
been
goodness.
found. Yeah, I was like, Lord help him.
How old was he?
4.
Oh,
Oh,
He took
wow.
off from the yard and said,
Oh, Herod's worst nightmare.
"Oh, I can't look at this, can I? Listen."
Yeah, you can, it's okay.
It's all right
It's an
to
open
use
book, you
the-
can cheat.
oh,
It's
wow.
all right.
I'm gonna cheat then because I remember what I put earlier, but I don't remember if it matched what I that one run earlier.
Or you take one of them healthy shakes, that stuff, energy power. I've seen people
You
taking
just
that
put
all
the powder
the
in whatever, or,
Well, energy powder usually contains caffeine.
Oh.
That's why you feel perkier.
Oh.
Well, I'd rather have coffee.
You know, and B12 makes me feel perkier.
B12 makes me feel perkier. I feel, when I take B12, I feel mentally sharper.
Okay, I wanna get some
I don't feel like
B12.
it.
What about prenatal vitamins? Do they,
Prenatals are very good. They usually have more in them. So, yeah,
so it's better than just buying
regular vitamins.
Centrum or, you know, just,
Usually. You know, there's different formulations of all those vitamins and it can be very confusing. So, you know, I tell you what, I spent, probably several years on my journey to learn about natural health, trying different vitamins, just trying. You know, I'll buy a bottle of something, I take it for 6 months and I think, well, I don't feel any different whether I'm taking it or not. And that's what got me started on looking for something better and